Hi guys, it's Mrs. Piekarski and I'm back with the Magic School Bus and the Giant Germ. So we're gonna read chapter 2 today. In chapter 1, Keisha's sandwich had mold on it and we learned what microbes are, that they can help, that they're kind of what cause mold so that we can see it, right? They band together so that we can see the mold, right? So in chapter 2, we're gonna see what happens. At the end of chapter 1, they all got on the Magic School Bus with their teacher, Miss Frizzle, and they were going to go inside the sandwich. So let's see what happens in chapter 2. It says, the Magic School Bus flew through the air. Now that we were so tiny, we could see all kinds of creatures floating around us. Some looked like round balls. Others were shaped like rods or spirals. Are those microbes? Arnold asked. He looked as if he was afraid to breathe. Will they make us sick? Not all microbes make us sick, said the Frizz. The few that do have given all microbes a bad name. Most people don't know that microbes do a lot more good than harm. You mean a good microbe isn't hard to find? Carlos asked. Not at all, the Frizz answered. Microbes come in all different sizes, shapes, and colors, Miss Frizzle told us. She pulled out a poster from the glove compartment and unrolled it. So the glove compartment is like that little drawer in your car beside the steering wheel. It says the poster listed the 5 most common types of microbes. So these are the 5 types of microbes we usually see, and they have pictures here. And some of these have really long names, so I'm not gonna read through all of them, but I'll show you so you can see the pictures, like what those microbes would look like if we had a big microscope so we could see them. Okay, so there's all kinds of different microbes. They're not all bad and they don't all make us sick. Well, it says, Keisha said, I couldn't believe all the funny looking shapes. These are just a few examples of microbes, the Frizz explained. Within each category, there are many more kinds of microbes. Some are made up of just one cell, like the bacteria we see in the air. Others are made of more than one cell, but are still too tiny to see without a microscope. Like the fungi that makes up bread mold, DA said. Speaking of bread mold, Miss Frizzle turned the wheel and the Magic School Bus zoomed down toward the playground. I saw my sandwich on the ground next to the picnic table. The closer we flew, the bigger it looked. The mold was like a huge forest next to a sandy beach of bread. Miss Frizzle aimed the bus right at one of the spots of mold and we plunged right in. Yuck. I definitely wasn't hungry anymore. After we landed, Miss Frizzle handed out rubber boots and safety helmets. Then we all jumped off the Magic School Bus right onto the surface of the bread. It was spongy and tricky to walk on. The air holes in my bread were like big craters. So craters are kind of like those things, if you've ever seen what the moon looks like close up, they're kind of like big holes, so you have to be careful. So they have to be careful not to walk on the craters. Wow, DA said, this is mold. It looked more like a forest to me. We were surrounded by tall, smooth, tree-like stalks. Each stalk blossomed into a cluster of smaller branches at the top, and there were so many I couldn't begin to count them all. Yes, indeed, fabulous fungi as far as the eye can see, Miss Frizzle announced, looking at the fungi with a smile. But what are the fungi doing here? Phoebe asked. And here's good. They have a picture to show you what they mean. So this is what they're saying. When they keep saying this fungi, that's what it looks like. All those tall tree-like things around them. Fungi is what helps make up the mold that they're seeing on the bread. So now they're standing in it. It says they're doing what microbes do best, Phoebe, Miss Frizzle said, eating and reproducing. You mean these fungi are chowing down on Keisha's bread? Asked Ralphie. Miss Frizzle gave a nod. Isn't it amazing? Most microbes, such as fungi and bacteria, can't make their own food. They get their food from other animals or plants. like in Kesha's bread. And when they eat, big changes take place. You mean sloppy changes, I said. My boots had started sinking into the soggy part of my sandwich. My bread is rotting. So what she's saying is these microbes banded together and they made this fungi. So this is what they look like, these microbes. When they banded together, they look like this fungi, and this fungi is eating Kesha's bread. That's what they're saying. And Keisha said, my bread is rotting. Tim said, so these fungi are changing Keisha's bread by making it rot so that they can use it for food. Precisely, the Frizz told him. I was still trying to keep my balance on that slippery stuff, but I got the picture. Rotting food was good for microbes, and bad luck for me. How did so many fungi get here so fast? I asked. My mom just made this bread last weekend. I didn't see a bit of mold until today. Look up, the Frizz instructed. When we did, we saw dozens of bluish-green balls attached to the top of each fungus. Those are called spores, Miss Frizzle explained. Spores are like seeds. They're carried to new places by the wind or by animals, and new fungi grow from them, the Frizz explained. So with the help of spores, each fungus produces dozens of new fungi, Wanda said. These microbes sure know how to get around. They work fast too, DA said, looking at her book. Some microbes can double their number in less than 10 minutes. No wonder there's a lot more than just one fungus around us, Carlos joked. I did some math in my head. Wait a minute. If microbes reproduce, that means like they multiply, like so if that would be making more of themselves. So if they can do that fast, wouldn't they totally overrun everything? I asked. They would, if conditions for growth were perfect, said Miss Frizzle. But if their food runs out, or if it gets too crowded, or too hot, or too cold, then the microbes start to die out. Phoebe took a look in DA's book. Looking at this says lots of packaged foods like hot dogs and rolls contain things that slow down the growth of microbes and keep food from spoiling. But homemade foods like your mom's bread don't have those. Okay, so she's saying because her mom made the bread herself, it made it a little bit easier, right, for the mold to grow. So that's why it's a moldy mess, I said. All of a sudden, everything started shaking. Whoa! I grabbed at the tubular stalks of fungi, that's those big tree things around them, to keep from falling. Earthquake! Arnold cried. Relax, it's just the 4th grade kids cleaning up, said Tim. The 4th graders in our school had started a recycling program. They towered over us as they collected trash and food scraps from the playground. We were so tiny that they looked like skyscrapers. No, bigger, like huge mountains. Every time one of the kids took a step, the whole ground trembled like crazy. I never knew exploring microbes would be such a shaky experience, Ralphie said. Don't look now, but this could become a squishy experience soon, said Phoebe. Uh-oh. Phoebe pointed toward a 4th grade girl who was walking toward us. The girl wore gloves and was busy dropping DA's orange peel into her bag of food scraps. She didn't seem to notice my sandwich lying on the ground in front of her with all of us on it. Oh my goodness. So here's a picture. Look how close she is. Look what it looks like she's about to do. So they're all inside the sandwich and she's trying to pick up the trash around them and doesn't see the sandwich. We could see her huge foot coming toward us. Our luck is running out, guys, I cried. The magic school bus is about to turn into the magic pancake. Get it? Because it would be flattened out. And that's the end of chapter 2. So you'll have to come back next time to find out what happens to our class in the magic school bus. Are they going to get stepped on and squished? Or will they figure out a way out of the situation, out of their problem? So you'll have to come back and listen to chapter 3 to find out. All right, so I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.